So this is my take onto a tandoori chicken, but this is actually a spatchcock. So when you actually go to your butcher, you probably ask for a tandoori chicken. They give you a complete bird without the skin, and then you can do your gashes and you can cook them in a tandoor or in the oven. It works well. This is spatchcocking because that's a bit different. Now, what exactly is a spatchcock? So for a spatchcock, you need to get a whole chicken. This is approximately 900 grams chicken breast. And if you look at it, spatchcocking is where the chicken is slightly flattened off. So right from the neck, the sides of the neck of the chicken till the bottom, we basically make an incision and we take out the full bone altogether, and we then press the chicken down. So you get the shape of a chicken which has been flattened off. Now that is known as a spatchcock. I'm going to use the skin on for this recipe is because I want the marinade to be going inside the skin. So when you're cooking in the oven, the skin also gets slightly crispened and also holds the flavors well intact. So first thing for the spatchcock is the knife. You make an incision on the neck sides, pull it on, and with the tip of the knife you go straight down all the way to the bottom, both sides. See that the whole backbone is removed, and then you also remove a little bit of the skin and the fat from the top of the neck. But that's all extra, we don't need that. Then with the heel of the knife, you lightly crack the center of the bone of the breast, twist it down and you press it, and that's what you would get. Very easy and simple to do. If you don't want to spend all the time, you can even ask your butcher, they can do it for you. Any extra fat again I remove off. Now this is the spatchcock chicken. I'm going to now start by making the marinade for the spatchcock chicken. The marinade of the spatchcock chicken is just like how you do a tandoori chicken or a chicken tikka, and it is based on yogurt. Now yogurt plays a very important role in the marinades. Now when you are actually using yogurt for kebabs, try and use a thick yogurt. So back in India, they would actually make homemade yogurt. They would hang it in the cheesecloth, leave it overnight so the water comes off, and what you get is a nice thick creamy yogurt. Now we have a convenience internationally when you work overseas, we actually use Greek yogurt, or if you're in the Middle East you can also use labneh. Now Greek yogurt or labneh is actually quite a thickened yogurt as such. So try and source that. A generous quantity of yogurt, Greek yogurt here. And you see how creamy and thick it is. I'm going to whisk it slightly, make it a bit smooth. In this goes in ginger garlic paste. So a generous quantity again is a good large bird. So I would say tablespoon and a half. What I also like to add is basically chopped garlic and chopped ginger and chopped green chilli. And the reason why I like to add the chopped garlic and ginger and green chilli is because it gives a very nice texture, a bite. So you actually when you're eating your dish, you get the mouthfeel, you get a few vegetables in your palate. It gives you a very nice palate taste. I'm also going to put coriander. Now coriander, these are more of the stalks than the leaves here. The stalks actually have a lot of flavor. A lot of people tend to use just the leaves. I prefer to use the stalks because again, texture wise and also flavor wise. Then it goes in salt. Generous seasoning of salt and spice powders. Tandoori chicken is normally red in color. A lot of people tend to use red coloring to give the red dye, but you can actually get a very nice red chili paste, or if you can get Kashmiri chilies, you can use that. So I've got Kashmiri chilies here. I'm going to add these Kashmiri chilies, a little extra because I want the color. Kashmiri chilies are not very spicy as such, but they give a very nice kind of a red color to the dish. Then goes in turmeric powder, cumin powder, coriander powder. A little more coriander powder, tiny quantity of garam masala powder, Kasuri methi powder. These are the dried fenugreek leaves, goes very good with kebabs. Generous squeeze of lemon, little oil. Now this forms the marinade for our spatchcock tandoori chicken. So I've got my spatchcock chicken in a bowl, and if you remember, I had seasoned my marinade slightly higher because I don't want to add salt on this now. So the extra salt has all gone in here. So the marinade on the inner side, and all I do is I lightly massage the marinade on the carcass inside. Just want to press it down. You don't need to make any gashes or any cuts because otherwise it will lose shape. And now it gets a bit messy, but it's interesting because we now need to put the marinade in the chicken, which is inside the breast. For that, you need to slightly open up the skin and basically push in the marinade. So you literally pour in the marinade. So when you're baking this in the oven, all the marinade sticks on inside and flavors the chicken. Push it in, and all the leftover marinade you then pour on top. Now this chicken will remain in the marinade for a minimum for 6 hours, ideally for overnight, and then it goes in the oven to bake. Now comes the important part of actually cooking the spatchcock chicken in the oven. Now a lot of people at home, when they're making a spatchcock chicken, they take the entire chicken in the marinade or the tikkas and they put it onto the tray and they put the entire tray inside. Okay, it does cook the chicken, but what's happening here is the water from the chicken and the marinade is oozing out, and it all forms like a puddle, and it begins to literally boil the chicken instead of roasting the chicken. Now if you look at a tandoor or a clay cooking or a barbecue, what happens is you have your grill or you have your tandoor, you put your skewers in or you put the meat on a barbecue, and there's air moving around the grill, and that gives an even kind of a coat, or cooking rather, and it gives a nice barbecue and a char effect. That will not happen if you use a normal roasting tray. The best way is to actually, or a simple way for home use, is to put a silver foil on the bottom of the tray. That really helps you at the end, because when the drippings fall down, you can take off the foil, chuck it in the bin, and your tray is clean. The second thing is you need to have is a wire rack. So these are wire racks from the oven. You just sit them on top of your roasting tray. Now if you look at it, I'm going to place my spatchcock chicken on top here on the wire rack, and when there's heat in the oven which is being moving around, it cooks it evenly from all sides. So there's no liquid which is falling off, which will also stew along with my chicken. So what you would get is a very nice kind of a barbecue feel, or a barbecue kind of a texture, or the color or the char effect would come onto the chicken in the same oven which you normally just use for roasting. So try and use the technique at home. Saves you time on washing up also, but also gives you a better effect. So for tandoori chicken, for chicken tikkas, for kebabs, for anything with marinades, try and use a wire rack, a foil, and a roasting tray. So all I do at this stage is I lift the chicken, goes in the center, and all the extra marinade I just basically spoon that back on to the chicken. Spread it on top, and this is ready to go in the oven. Now this is going to go in a preheated oven around 190 to 200 degrees centigrade, which is approximately 375 degrees Fahrenheit, for a good 30 to 35 minutes. Our 35 minutes are done, and it smells absolutely divine. The smell of the spices and the roast chicken is just fantastic. Have a little look. The chicken has come out really nice. It smells wonderful. The marinade has coated the chicken quite well and is nice and dry. Now because we have used Greek yogurt and not a normal yogurt, it is quite thick, so that really coats the chicken quite well and gives it a very nice envelope and a coating on top of the roast chicken. So when you eat it, and all the flavors really stay intact. Now if you had not used the wire rack and the silver foil and put it directly onto the tray, the chicken would actually have boiled into the old marinade and would ruin the dish. But because of the wire rack, the air circulates around the chicken, and what you get is a very nice golden and specks of brown finish, which really mimic the finish which you get from a barbecue or from a char grill. So I'm very happy with the way it's come out. There is a way to check if your chicken is done or not. You can actually feel the chicken, and if it is quite firm, it tells you that the chicken is cooked. And the other way is actually by piercing a sharp knife or a little toothpick or a needle, and there's water coming off. That means the chicken needs to cook a bit more. So let's have a little look. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. So that tells me that the chicken has really cooked well. I've done it on the leg side. I've done it on the breast side, which is slightly larger. So that tells me the chicken is done. Now, although I've taken it out from the oven, I do not serve it straight away as it is. It is still very, very hot. You need to let the chicken rest for a good 4 to 5 minutes. And as it is resting, it is also cooking at the same time. This internal heat, the residual heat, is cooking the chicken even further till the core. So I've shown you how to make the simple recipe of the marinade. You can add any flavors which you like. I like to have the chicken with just a squeeze of lemon and maybe some salad. But if you want a crusty bread or you want a salad, some rucola, some leaves with some tomatoes and feta, make it your own. But do try it and don't forget to share it with your friends and family, and do comment and don't forget to tag me. So until next time, happy cooking.